Hey everyone, James here, and welcome back to yet another installment of Quickie Talk.
Oh, no! I'm late for a very important thing.
Quickie Talk is, of course, the show where I attempt to talk about topics briefly, and I want to stress that again, attempt to talk about briefly, things that I don't think are worthy of a more long-form discussion. And today, well, let me paint a picture. Have you ever had that thing that you watch, that you get kind of obsessed with, that eventually, slowly over time, leaves your mind? Or if anything, gets sort of tucked into the back of your brain? That just randomly, a couple years down the road, it gets brought back to the forefront, and you end up just watching it and binging it again. No, just me? Well, that's how I kind of feel about the ABC drama Once Upon a Time. In case you've never seen it, Once Upon a Time is basically official Disney fan fiction that attempts to answer the question, what if the heroes and the villains got their own happy endings? That just so happens to also feature the characters from The Wizard of Oz. And Jekyll and Hyde. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And also Camelot for some weird reason. Okay, you kind of get the idea. It ran for 7 seasons, and for the most part, as drawn out as it could be at times, and definitely as aggravating as it could be at times, it's kind of the equivalent of television junk food for me. But of course, that 7th season is what I want to talk about today. Because I remember at the time, they were not starting themselves out on a good foot by basically announcing when production began on that 7th season that most of the reoccurring cast, apart from maybe 3 off the top of my head I think stayed, were gutted. They were not going to be seen. The characters that you saw for the past 6 seasons, yeah, most of them were not taking part this time around. It truly felt like the show was trying to take itself in a different direction. And what was that direction? And was it a good direction or a bad direction? Well, again, that's what I want to talk about today. Today on this Quickie Talk, we are going to be talking about Once Upon a Time Season 7. In preparation for this video, I did go back and watch most of Season 7 of Once Upon a Time. I didn't watch all of it, mainly because it's kind of a slog to get through, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I will say I did walk into it on this rewatch making my best effort to watch it for what it actually was, which was a hard reboot of the series, rather than watch it for what I would have wanted it to be, which was a continuation of the past 6 seasons of the show. And unfortunately, those feelings were very hard to shake off, because Season 7 of this show, like I said, is basically a hard reboot that takes you all the way back to Season 1. It's not bad, but it's also not the 7th season of a long-running TV show. It feels more like a Season 1. And again, we've seen that stuff before. It's just now done ever so slightly worse. Within watching the first half hour of the first hour-long episode, you kind of already have figured out who are your surrogates from what you know before. Lady Tremaine is the new evil queen. Henry is now the new Emma. Henry's daughter Lucy is the new Henry, etc. You kind of see where I'm going from here. Within the first 90 seconds of that first episode, they're already having to give in-universe explanations for why characters we've seen before in the 6 years of the show might look slightly different now, with the explanation being basically a multiverse within a multiverse, because remember the Mad Hatter's hat kind of unlocked portals to every other realm? The show was already a multiverse, and now you're adding a multiverse on top of a multiverse.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
I suggest you don't worry about this sort of thing and just enjoy yourself. That goes for you all, too.
Yes.
I just don't think it's a very good look for your audience that you're having to give them explanations for why you feel the need that you have to retread old characters we've already seen in the show because you've run out of fairy tale creatures to use. That being said, though, the casting is still on point. Granted, not everyone hits bullseyes, but there were two standouts. And oddly enough, they're both from the same property. Tiana and Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. Tiana, well, look, she looks like the goddamn cartoon, and she's a great actress to boot. And Dr. Facilier, who is very good at being threatening without being gifted Keith David's voice. While I may not like the changes they made for the Princess and the Frog characters to make them fit in Once Upon a Time, they kind of strip a lot of the New Orleans stuff that was in the movie, and Tiana's also not a waitress. She's just a princess starting out now. She's more of a waitress in her cursed life, which, I don't know. I don't think that really works. I think you're kind of stripping a lot of what makes Tiana special by doing that. These two do give their best at, one, trying to honor what the animated characters were, which is definitely more than I can say about whatever their excuse for a Mother Gothel was. Because this is supposed to be Mother Gothel. Again, this is supposed to be this. What?
Number 1. Number 2. Number 1. Number 2.
About the same. Number 1 might be a tiny bit better.
But another thing on the rewatch that I was instantly reminded of, because it annoyed me back then, and it annoyed me now, was I think Season 7 has by far the most overcomplicated story and the most ridiculous curse. As not only is the curse this time taking them to a realm without magic, it's also a time travel curse, which I know I'm kind of someone to talk about that right now. But anyway, it takes them to a land without magic before Henry left Storybrooke. And I'm sorry, the whole time travel aspect of it kind of just feels arbitrary. I don't recall them actually giving any particular reason for why it was taking them back in time. Again, I didn't watch the whole season. I kind of watched specific episodes that kind of told the overarching story. If anyone remembers why they did that, do let me know. That's not even to mention the fact that the damn Wish Realm and Wish Rumple make their reappearance here. Yeah, you remember that. The brief Season 6 arc that I think even lasted like 1, maybe 2 episodes, with Regina going to the wish that the evil queen made during their Aladdin arc, where Aladdin was the genie that was to send Emma Swan and give her her wish, that she never had the curse or something, and the evil queen let Rumple out, but he wasn't a real Rumple. But then you also have Wish Hook.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't work on its own, because unless you watched Season 6, and specifically that Aladdin arc, you have no clue what is even going on. And truthfully, I don't even think people who were watching at the time gave a second thought that the idea of this little arc, that again, I think may have just been 1 episode, was gonna be kind of important, a year or so down the line. It's a mess. But that kind of describes my thoughts on the season from what I saw. A mess. Some good, some bad. I think they truly shot themselves in the foot by naming this Once Upon a Time Season 7. This isn't Season 7. This is Once Upon a Time, Hyperion Heights. Now, I'm aware they tried doing that back in like the early days of the show with Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, and that didn't really take off. So I understand why they may have been hesitant to try that again. But, I mean, there had to be a better solution than what we got. But even saying that, I don't even know if the episodes could work in a vacuum, because there's so much homework that you would have to do to make any of it understandable for a newcomer. Again, the whole goddamn Wish Realm. I just feel like maybe they really should have just gone for a hard reboot. Nix any of the recurring characters, maybe except from Henry. If you really want to have Henry being the thread that carries over, that's fine. But get rid of Regina, get rid of Rumple, get rid of Hook, who's not Hook, he's Wish Hook, get rid of Zelina. If I already said her before, I don't even know. get rid of all of them, and just have it be new characters, with Henry being the connecting tissue. I don't even know why they didn't do this, because they literally have, for example, you introduce Dr. Facilier, a character who is known from his story to make deals with people, much in the same way that Rumpel did. Why do we need Rumpel when we have Facilier? And we have a damn good actor playing Facilier, too. Why, apart from them probably being the top 3 characters from the old show, do we even need them here? Get rid of them. Their stories are done. Let us see some new characters and let us explore their stories and their character development. But now I want to pass the question off to you guys. If you've seen Once Upon a Time Season 7 lately, what did you think of it? Am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy, but maybe I'm crazy. Did this all make perfect sense to you and it just didn't to me? Let me know in the comments section down below. Let me know any thoughts you had on it in the comments section down below. And until tomorrow, guys, gals, and my fellow VEDS-ies, I will see you tomorrow.